Well, as most of you know, there's no shortage of financial advice out there, from the water cooler to the street to the Thanksgiving dinner table and beyond. There's no shortage. Most of it probably not applicable to you. Maybe certain pieces have nuggets of truth in it. But today, we're busting out some of the most common retirement myths that could easily destroy your long-term goals. Let me grab Walt, and we'll make sure you know the truth.
Back on Power Your Retirement, another great episode today. Walter Storholt alongside Steve Smith, certified financial planner, Powerhouse Financial Advisors. It's going to be a great episode today as we break down 10 myths.
Oh, yeah.
Bust them here on the show, give you some truth, a little bit of a rapid fire episode for you. We'll cover a lot of ground, a lot of different areas of the financial planning world. You've got were you a fan of Mythbusters back in the day, Steve, that show?
Oh, yeah. Very good. Some of it was completely random too. You never know what they come up with in that show.
Yeah. I think one of my favorites was because it was one of those things that like I had always thought about, and then they did it and I was like, oh my gosh. Was the like, if you run in the rain, do you get more wet or less wet? Right? Like if you run instead of, that kind of thing.
Right.
The other one I think was like, if you drive a truck with the tailgate up, does all of that air slow the truck down from hitting the tailgate? And if you lower the tailgate, do you have then less resistance?
Right.
And I remember, I think Jamie, I can't remember if it was which one of the guys did it, but like they just drove hundreds of miles with their truck tailgate down to like experiment with it.
Very cool. Did they put a kite behind it too, or no?
Something like that. The funny thing is, you forget a lot of the actual takeaways. Like when they busted those myths, you kind of forget sometimes which one was it. Like I can't remember if running or walking got you more or less wet. I can't remember if it was the tailgate up or down that was more efficient fuel-wise, but the experiments stay with you. So on our show, we hope it's the opposite. We hope the experiments they're not going to be as exciting and interesting as maybe the Mythbusters guys, but we hope you'll actually know what's the myth and what's not the myth by the end of it. So our goal maybe is to make sure you walk away with that piece of the nugget and the knowledge. So without further ado, shall we jump into them?
Let's do it. Throw them out.
Right. First one on the list. The more a financial plan weighs, the more valuable it is. Well, that's a myth. Why is that a myth that needs busting?
I'm all for comprehensive plans, but if the plan has to be this thick in order to give it to someone, there's a problem. So we break it down that we just have a couple screens that we can actually do probability of success in the key metrics, so everybody can get a grasp of it. We could print that, but just because I can print that in some software doesn't mean that anything in there is worth following. Okay. So if you can't break it down into 1 or 2 pages, kind of like a marketing plan, if you can't break it down into 1 or 2 pages, it's probably not going to work. So make sure that it's fine to have the thick pack, but that is not what makes it good. It's how it can be explained to you in a way that you can understand and implement. That's what matters.
Yeah, fantastic. And great point. All right. Number 2, my life is simple, so all I need is a will.
So probate is never simple unless you're broke. So if you're broke, it's a simple form and done. But if you're not broke, like less than 100,000 in net worth, okay, then I think it depends on the state where they draw that line. But wherever your state draws that line, that can be simple. But if you have a house, you're not going to qualify unless you 100% or something like that, or close to. But the point is that it's not going to be simple.
Yeah. So pretty much anybody who's done any sort of saving or planning for retirement, no matter how simple you think your situation is, you can benefit from putting together a true estate plan and having those deeper conversations, and not just drafting a will on a website and saying you're done.
Yeah, it's better than having nothing.
Sure.
But it's not the ideal way to go, for sure.
Okay.
And I always tell everyone, if you're going to do a trust, it's not necessarily for you. It's kind of a gift of love to whoever comes behind you to make things a lot easier.
Makes a lot of sense. All right. Myth number 3. My spouse will be fine when I'm gone, so, no big deal. They'll only need half as much income anyway, right?
she has to, or he has to, depending on who's the survivor, is going to live probably in the same house, right? And have a lot of the same utilities, because whether you're sitting in a room and you're both in there, the lights on, or you're sitting in there, just one of you. So a lot of these things, sure, food might be a little less, sure, there might be a little bit less medical, and there's a few things that are going to be less. But I would say an 80% is a good guess of what it's going to cost. Maybe 75, depending on the hobbies or whatever. But the point is that 50 is not going to cut it.
Yeah, you might be surprised at how much you're spending in retirement solo versus when you had that spouse with you. Your habits may change into a more expensive habit too. I'm thinking about the food one, right? If you maybe had a spouse who did a lot of the cooking and now all of a sudden they're gone and you're going out to eat all the time, you might actually notice that budget be a lot higher than it used to be. So just one example.
Yes, I need a strong Weight Watchers program too if that happened to me. So
yeah, I would basically just be living on chicken wings at that point. All right, myth number 4. When I retire, I need to dramatically shift from stocks to bonds. That's kind of been the old saying, right? That's been the way you're supposed to do it for decades.
So that is a very good question of risk, right? So just saying that out loud, I think is a myth. Now, every myth has a kernel of truth. So yes, I'm not against shifting towards bonds, but just to swing the pendulum is what really that saying says, hey, stocks are for young people, bonds are for old people. It's a blend, because we need to make this last probably 30 or 40 years, depending on the ages of each spouse.
It's a great point. We could do a whole episode, obviously, about just that one sort of line of thinking or belief, but we'll leave it there for the rapid fire round. Number 5, if the market crashes, I'll just stop spending until it recovers. This one struck me as funny that it even made the list. Like, is that really a myth people are believing in? But maybe you've seen this in your experience, Steve.
No matter what happens in my life, good years, bad years, good months, bad months, markets up, down and around, I still get a utility bill.
Yeah.
Every month. I still get a property tax bill. I still get a cell phone bill. I still have to take my high blood pressure medicine from time to time, depending on what's going on in the market, right? So the point is that it's a complete myth, because it's just not going to happen. Bills are bills. Now, might you cancel that big vacation? Probably, or kick it down the road potentially. But the point is that the rest of your life is still going to move.
Yeah. Also, take that one for a trial spin now while times are good, right? Stop spending for 3 months. See how life goes. Are you really prepared for that statement if you happen to be believing in that one? So that one's an easy one to bust, I feel. How about this next one, though? Social Security is going to take care of most of my retirement income. Even if people have the realization that they need more than Social Security, I think there's definitely still a belief that Social Security is going to still be the bulk of it and really take care of most of your needs.
So for most of America, that is a myth, right? And the rest of America, if that is the case, that is their reality, they're taking a pretty sizable hit to their lifestyle, if that is the case. So I would say for someone who's saving for retirement and wanting to do some things in retirement, then Social Security is not going to take care of it. Will it keep 4 walls up and a roof over your head, food in your stomach, and medicine with Medicare, of course, at 65? Possibly. But a lot of people have to choose between the food and medicine at times on that plan. So I would say it's not going to take care of you well. And it was never designed to take care of you well. It was designed to be one of three of the footstool, or bar stool, or whatever you want to call it, stool. There's Social Security, employer plans, and personal savings. So if you're only on Social Security, you only did one of the 3 of how it was actually originally designed.
Myth number 7, I'll be in a much lower tax bracket once I retire. I know this one is a lot of people believe in this. It's possible, right? It's a plausible outcome, but people say it with a lot of certainty.
I don't know that I'd be excited about that, because if that is true for you, it's not a good thing. It means that you're going to be living on a lot less than what you were making.
Interesting.
Okay. Now, this one is a myth. I'll go with that it's a myth, because If you put everything in a Roth IRA, then all you have is a portion of the Social Security. And if you had a pension, that was pre-tax as well. So you can actually do this and have it make sense. So I'm like all over the place with this one. It's a myth in a general statement, but if you work with a financial planner, you can actually make that a reality if you really went heavy into Roth IRAs, Roth 401ks, and really set yourself up. That could actually be a reality that's very positive. But most of the time, I would say if that's your reality, it means that you had to drastically reduce your lifestyle.
Okay, excellent. That's an easy one to cover there. And to see why maybe it's difficult to, peg it into a specific bracket. But I like your breakdown of that. All right, number 8, I don't need a written plan because I know my numbers. It's all up here, Steve.
Oh, that reminds me of some insurance, I think it was commercial, where everybody's walking around with the number over their head, right?
Yeah.
The problem is that unless you went through a lot of pain to figure out what that was, just calculating in your head's not going to work. There's too many variables of not only general inflation, but healthcare inflation. There's, are you going to get what kind of Social Security is it going to keep up with inflation? What are the risks of the stock market? What are the risks of, Social Security going down? I mean, the list goes on and on and on. If you think you can do that in your head, it's called guessing.
Yeah, it's a good point on that one. It's one thing to know your account numbers and the balances and all those kinds of things, but it takes a lot more work to translate that to how it's going to support you in retirement. And it's a great first step to know your balances and know what you have. Some people take the I stick my head in the sand approach, right, and don't know any of that information. But
yeah, you need to know your numbers for sure, and what you track, usually grows.
Yeah.
So that's a good first step.
All right, number 9, I can always work a little longer if things don't go as planned. Not saying people don't do that, but to make that part of the plan.
So that is a myth. A lot of people ask me, so how long are you going to keep working? I'm like, I'm not retirement age, but the point is that when they're looking at, is it going to be 10 years, 20 years, 30 years? How long are you going to be doing this? I always want to be on the long side because I really love what I do every day. But I may or may not be able to. I may get some kind of disease. I may not be able to stand here and do this. There could be a limiting factor in my household that will require me to provide a level of support that I couldn't do this anymore. So there's so many things. And to bet that you can work till 70, let's just pick a number out of the sky because it's the top of the Social Security, 62 to 70, to bet on that you can work till 70, especially if you have a more technical job, like you need flexibility, strength, all kinds of things, mobility, probably not a good plan. I think that's a myth. You can always work longer because health is so unpredictable, especially as we get older.
Yeah, at least don't make it plan B, right? Like maybe, hey, I'll just work longer. That might be plan D or E, right? But let's put some other backstops in place before that one is what it sounds like to me.
Definitely. And I've seen this too many times that, I'm going to work till I'm, say, 70. And then at 63, 4, they're not able to do their job.
Yeah, it happens. Absolutely. And a big part of this is just knowing what your job is. How likely is that? How big of a risk is it for you to expect to physically be able to do it long term? Last myth to bust here. Once I retire, my financial decisions will get easier.
Oh, man, that is just a lie. Let's just call it. That's just a straight up lie. Because there's so many more things. When you have a job and you get a paycheck every 2 weeks or every month or however it is you get paid, that money just keeps coming in. Plus you keep accumulating more. That's a very secure place. Now, once it's fixed and now you have investments that fluctuate and you've got some fixed income that doesn't as much, there's a lot more stress with that. There's a lot more risk. There's some income timing. How much do I keep in emergency funds? Do I spend this big ticket here or there? Which bucket should I pull it out of? I have to work a lot more with those retirees and those decisions, way more time than the people that are pre-retirement, for sure.
Yeah, it's a really great point. We've got lots of do-overs when you're getting that paycheck coming in every 2 weeks or month or however frequent that is for you. Not a lot of do-overs in retirement. So, but we got to get it right. So I feel like that makes the decisions that much grander and that much more difficult. So spot on with that one. I like your takeaways there. Well, there you have it. 10 myths that if you find yourself saying, I kind of believed in a couple of these things, that might be a bit of a red flag, right? Let's get rid of those myths and we'll have some better decisions, I think, that follow. So let's make that our solution and our goal this year ahead. If you've got questions about your specific finances, how to best prepare for retirement, how to save the best that you can right now, what are the right investments inside your 401k, all of those kinds of questions, especially if you're an employee of a publicly traded utility. Steve has some excellent plans that you can work with. There's a reason we call the show Power Your Retirement, of course, and why Steve's business is Powerhouse Financial Advisors. So if you have questions specifically about your plan, don't hesitate to reach out. Go to powerupyour401k.com. We've got that linked in the description of today's show, and you can order the toolkit, which is going to be packed with great information about planning for your financial future, and it'll allow you to book a one-on-one conversation with Steve and the team. Steve, thank you so much for your help this week, and we'll look forward to chatting with you again soon.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Thanks, Walt, for chiming in.
Thanks for busting some myths for us. We'll see everybody next time on Power Your Retirement. This podcast is provided by Powerhouse Financial Advisors, an independent firm with advisory services offered through Parsonex Advisory Services, Inc., PAS, a federally registered investment advisor. The information provided is for informational and educational purposes only and should not be considered as personalized investment advice. PAS does not guarantee the accuracy, completeness, or suitability of this information for your specific circumstances. Investment decisions should be based on an individual's goals, time horizon, and risk tolerance. Past performance is not indicative of future results, and all investments carry a degree of risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any case studies, testimonials, or endorsements shared in this podcast are illustrative of individual experiences and may not be representative of the experience of all clients. They do not guarantee future performance or success. You should not infer any level of assurance regarding future financial outcomes. Listeners should consult with a qualified financial, tax, or legal professional before making any investment decisions. Parsonex Advisory Services, Inc. does not provide tax or legal advice. Be sure to consult with your tax and legal professionals regarding your specific circumstances. For a copy of our Form ADV Part 2A, which provides additional information about PAS, including our advisory fees and services, please visit powerhousefinancialadvisors.com.